All right, everybody. So here's our pancake segment. I told everybody we're gonna be we just made a little segment for how to cook the French style eggs. Now I'm gonna show you how to do the pancakes, and we're gonna put these up on YouTube in here because I think people will like watching them. All right. So first thing that I do is gonna be first thing we got to do is coffee. Oh. The next thing, I'm gonna get flack for this from anybody who's a cook in there. I use my favorite buttermilk biscuit mix because this wonderful company called Christie's put all the ingredients together for me. Yes, can you put in all the baking powder and do the stuff and everything? Of course you can. But you know what? I love supporting companies. No, I put it in there because it's just so much easier for me. Look at that. A little bit like this. I don't have to do all the stuff. And people will say, Maty, it's so easy to do. I know, but I like it. I like this brand. Controversial. I tell you. Now, we got stuff that we're going to throw into this. Hi, Lone Star. It's so easy. I got some applesauce. I've got, what else am I putting in this? I'm putting in, the pumpkin spice. Because I've got a ton of it left over. I don't know if people from Thanksgiving have a ton of pumpkin. I got a ton of pumpkin spice left over. And I've got some nice pecans. So we're going to put all of this in to all of our mix. So let's get a little water in there. Get some of this stuff going. We're going to add the applesauce.
Balloon, Maty, balloon. Quick, quick.
And Xanther, because I'm doing the recording of the stuff like that, go easy on all those commands. Thanks. Yeah, all right. So let's get this going. Get this in the bowl. All right. We're gonna add a little bit more water. All right. Mix, mix, mix. Oh, I love it. This is going to be so good. A little bit more water. But from scratch pancakes, from scratch pancakes are wonderful. But you know what? Pancakes from a box are really good too. All right. So that's what we've got so far in there. All right. Let's add some of that pumpkin spice. Lots of pumpkin spice. Let's get that going. And then I was kind of debating, all right? I was kind of debating whether or not I should do bigger chunks of the pecans because the pecans are in half, which are very good. Or should I break them up in the mix? What do y'all think? What do you think your preference would be? That's a toughie. Or should I mix it up? Some big pieces, some little pieces. Broken? I like that. Let's break them up. Because then you don't bite into like one big chunk. And I'm just going to use my hands. They break up. I don't have to chop them or anything like that. Why get out the cutting board and a knife? Again, I can hear like bakers and cooks just going, what are you doing? Well, at Maty's Cafe, we're pretty practical around here. Smaller chunks, but effort. Yeah, you know what? I don't mind. This I don't mind doing. All right, pan is warming up. Go a few more. And I love pecans. I like pecans over walnuts. I said it. Again, I'm controversial. I love pecans over walnuts. I don't know why. Walnuts always seem to have like a dried out taste to me. All right. A little bit of spray. Boop. Get our first one down. Oh, yeah. Oh, that looks good. You agree, pecans over walnuts? Yeah. Doing things like that is a chef thing. Bringing out the cutting board when not really needed is a foodie thing. That's true. That's true. Yep. Well, also, it's also for a nice presentation, too. You know. All right, let's get it. I think I'm going to need... Do I have my big spatula? Oh, yeah. Let's get our big spatula. This is like huge. Very sturdy. I've had it for years. Foodie gone? I like that name. Yeah. I just see. I'll give you a little peek of it. Doing real good. Nothing too spectacular. We've got it down. Like I said, one of the things I'm going to do for a lot of these, if I start doing more food videos, get a nice stand right here and get a camera shot down here as well. Good morning, Zuna! I'm making pancakes. Your new time when you do just cooking streams. Would you like some pancakes? We're making our pancakes. Now, another thing that people I see in a lot of videos and when people are making all their stuff is that they say the first pancake is always terrible. Throw it away. Why would you do that? All right? The first pancake always just takes a little bit longer on the first side. Cook it a little bit longer and then flip it. Yeah. Because people are always just like, oh, that's a throwaway pancake, that's a test pancake. It's like, no. Don't be wasteful. Don't be wasteful. Just wait a little bit longer on it. Alright, like that one right now is still pretty light. So we're just going to wait a little bit on it. Chit chat, have your coffee. Look outside at the gray, dreary day, which is what made me want to have some coffee and pancakes. It's gray and dreary, and I think it rained earlier. Yeah, test pancake, best pancake, first pancake, yeah. I mean, look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful pancake. Oh my gosh, we're going to have a couple just legendary pancakes. Now, also for me, don't know why I snapped my fingers like that. Alright, now for me, I love good old Vermont maple syrup. Alright, hashtag would love to be sponsored by anybody in Vermont. The only one I could get this week is the Maple Grove Farms. But you know, when you get real maple syrup, it's all good. St. Johnsbury, Vermont shout out right there. Alright? And then what I do is I warm it up. So warm it up a little bit. Always make sure to watch anything when you're boiling sugar. Because a sugar burn is not a fun thing at all. You gotta be careful. Always be careful. Hey Zim, good morning. Shiny pancakes. Hi Lone Star, how you doing? If I mess up the first pancake, my wife always takes it. She says it all goes down to the same place. This is very true. I have had some experience. Well, it'll bubble oil over. It'll really bubble up. So I always make sure to watch it. I always put it in a different container. Never boil it out of the bottle. I'll check it. Yeah, oh, beautiful. Just about to boil. That's what you want. All right, and about that time, a beautiful first pancake. Look how beautiful that is. It's our first pancake. Now, again, I like my pancakes a little bit thinner. Thinner pancakes are easier to make. If you want a thick pancake, then you've got to worry about it cooking all the way through. Beautimous. Yeah. Yeah, if you go with too thick of a pancake, you know, it's so. Now, there is one thing I do want to try sometime, and I've tried it before, but I want to get better at it, is those Japanese-style pancakes, the jiggly ones. Yeah. How's it going, Tim? Yeah, so, yeah, so we're going to probably try that in a later episode. Bum, 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 ba-dum. Ooh, this one's pretty wide, too. The nice wide pancake. This one's going to cook up a little bit faster, of course. All right, cooking up a little bit faster, so that's why I'm kind of watching it. And then the only other thing I have other than the maple syrup in there is I get a little bit of butter. And get your favorite butter, the one that you like that tastes the best. Everybody talks about all different kinds of butters and stuff, and some of the Irish butters are very good, of course, or anything like that. I have gone into Land O'Lakes butter with a little bit of canola oil. I don't know why. It's probably not the best thing for you, but the taste-wise, I just love the taste. And of course, you can always make your own butters, you know, take some butter and add in different things and stuff. But for me right now, that's kind of my main thing. So as this one's cooking up, let's put a little bit of butter on this one. Get some butter melted in. A little tap, nothing too much. Also makes, you know, good for the gram. I don't have an Instagram. All right, here we go. So this one's going. Oh, this. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, that's beautiful. A later episode with a Foodie-gon? Yeah. Oh my gosh. And this is going to be so good because you've got the applesauce is in there. We've got the pecans in there. We've got the pumpkin spices in there with all the good cinnamon and everything. A little bit of the good butter that I love and some real maple syrup. This is going to be outstanding. Like I said, you make the pancakes you like to make. If you use a mix, use a mix. If you like adding things in, if you like it just plain, I tell you, you give me just a plain pancake with good maple syrup, I'm happy as a clam. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Never let anybody tell you that your method of making pancakes is bad. That's why I say this just happens to be the way I like to make it. And you don't have to do it 100% by scratch. Like I said, I always laugh at that. There's things like I love my Jiffy mixes, my corn muffin for Jiffy. Jiffy, if you would like to sponsor me. I love Jiffy. I'm like, these people at Jiffy took a lot of time to put all the ingredients in there. Is it easy to just take your own ingredients and put in? Yeah, but who's got that kind of time? You're right, Jiffy Corporate's amazing. Hi, crony. Canadian. Now I grew up in New England, so I've had all kinds of. I always kind of gravitate towards the Vermont ones, but New Hampshire, Maine, Canada, all kinds of maple syrup. It's always good. All right. There we go. Oh, that's even better looking than the first. Are you kidding me? All right. Here we go. Let's get the butter on there. Oh my gosh. Look how beautiful these two are. Look how beautiful these two are. Let's put a little bit of maple syrup. All right. And then literally I've got to put my money where my mouth is and show you how good these pancakes are. Shut that off, right? Yeah. Good work. Boom. Get a little bit of that butter. I see some pecans right there. Oh my gosh. This looks so good. Mmm. The apple with the toasted pecan. Oh. Oh. Oh my God. We gotta have another bite. Oh. It's so good. So good. So, there's how I like to make these pancakes. And I said I don't, I don't use the same ingredients all the time, but these ingredients really work out really well. So, enjoy making your pancakes. Make them the way that you like them. Thank you for being here on Maty's Cafe. And wait, that could be my exit for my YouTube stuff. So thank you for being here at Maty's Cafe. Enjoy your eating.